What did republic mean? Republic, a republic form of government means your God-given rights are protected at all costs. What are your God-given rights? Well, one of your God-given rights is that nobody has the right to force you into a contract. That means God gave you the right to travel. God gave you the right to drive, or whatever you want to call it. You can call it driving, you can call it teleporting, you can call it astral traveling. I got the right to do it. God said I could. It says you have the right to bear arms. You got the right to protect yourself. You got the right to travel this land, this planet, free of governmental documentation. You have those rights. But somebody has told you, you got to register. You've got to have this ID. Well, what has happened is you have given up your rights. When you sign a driver's license, when your mother signed the birth certificates, or when you keep pretending to be that dead fictitious character, you've given up your God-given rights. Well, when you stand in the republic, your God-given rights are protected at all costs. They're not repackaged and sold to you. They can't be reused or all this other stuff that they're trying to do. The problem is you've been signing away your rights. Then we come into the democracy. Well, what is the democracy? What is a democratic form of government? A democratic form of government means mob rule. Mob rule. That means the fewer in number have no voice. This is what the video was telling you. That democratic form of government means the fewer in number have no voice. So if you are a melanated being and people are telling you that your people only have 13% of the population, which is not true. It's more like 30, more like that, as opposed to what we've been told. How do we know this? Well, there's so many calculations that are impossible. When they say, oh, well, black people decided they weren't going to go and spend money Black Friday, or they decided during the Thanksgiving holiday that they're not going to spend money, and 11%, the market went down 11%. And then, listen, there's so many, then they telling you things like melanated people stop watching certain television show, or melanated people make up this many number of people watching this particular show. And it's like, it's mathematically impossible for 13% of the population to have that much of an effect on what's going on overall. If it's only 13%, and then we affecting 50% of the market, when we only do a half-butt job of doing we did a boycott. Melanated people did a boycott years ago. And when they did it, they affected the whole market by almost 35-45%. Just because of the boycott, and it was a half-done boycott. Everybody didn't participate. So how do you tell me, melanated people, yeah, we spend a lot of money, but at the same time, it's mathematically impossible for us to be only 13%. We half do the boycott, and then we have that great of an effect on the market? No, it's more of us than that. It's more of us than 13%. So I can go deeper into that. I'm not. I'm letting you know we're being lied to. Anyway, but if you are saying you're fewer in number in a democratic form of government, then you have no voice. And if you have no voice, then why would you continue to be in something that does not represent you? If you have no voice, it doesn't make sense. So I'm not saying to vote Democratic or Republic. What I am telling you is that a democratic form of government, it doesn't represent you in any kind of way, because if you're fewer in number, then that means you have no voice. That's what I was saying. Now, somebody's gonna say, well, then we're supposed to be voting Republican? Let me tell you about the Republican form of government. Remember I told you to go and look up the Act of 1871? Let's understand this, because this is when Britain had already taken over when George Washington got into presidency. But I need y'all to know George Washington and everybody all the way up to Obama, they're related by blood. I'm gonna say this again. George Washington and everybody all the way up until Obama are related by blood. And so what I'm letting you know is the fact that Britain had been running this since George Washington. Why? Because George Washington is a direct descendant of the Queen of England. He was never supposed to be president in the first place because he wasn't qualified. Why? Because there's not supposed to be any kind of royal blood in the presidency of the United States. But Britain got in there with George Washington, and they've been running it all the way up into Obama. Okay, so let me continue so we're understanding. When the Act of 1871 came around, what Britain did was they incorporated an organization called the United States. Now listen up, because there was the United States of America that had been incorporated in 1777. 1777 is when the original United States of America was created. That would be considered the federal government. But in 1871, Britain incorporated another organization called the United States Corporation. And this organization stole the authority from the United States of America. So now everybody running around talking about the United States and the president, vote for the president. You're voting for a president of a corporation called the United States. He has nothing to do with America. But as long as you are over here acting as a citizen and voting for these people, you're feeding the beast. And it doesn't matter if you are doing Democratic or Republican parties, they're both paid by the same people. And none of these people are for you, whether you are melanated or albion. Please, y'all pay attention, because I'm going to go deep. I'm going to tell you what the facts are, and then y'all can go and look this up.